got this, my valve body pulled out. Got the little check balls there. Took some pictures to try to mark those. You can kind of see quite a bit of metal shavings and stuff that's not supposed to be in there. Clutch material down in the pan. So I pulled this guy out. This is a Turbo 475 that I've had sitting around for a while. So that actually was in my old 72 K5 Blazer I had, which if I have any videos, I'll put in here. I've had it ever since, so it's just been kicking around and something I've been wanting to build anyways for a while. So I've been wanting to learn kind of how to build my own transmissions. It's kind of one of those things, the last little bits on the truck I need to learn. And right now I just don't have the time to do it. So I found someone local to me that is actually going to rebuild that for me. So my Turbo 400, the one I've been running, is still in the truck. All he needs is that case and transmission. I need to put this pan on it, and I'm going to put that valve body in it. So that's all he needs. He's going to rebuild it for me. I have a brand new torque converter, a little bit higher stall. So I am hopefully that gets me my power band where I'm wanting it. The stall that is in there, I think I misspoke on an older video, but the stall that's in my truck right now, I believe, is about a 3300 stall. And this one, I thought it was 4200 for some reason, but it's actually 3700. So it's not that much more than what I had, but it's just a little bit. And with the gear swap and hopefully, I guess, 500 more flash on the stall, hopefully that is getting me where I want to be. So with the, let's see, the motor, swapped that last October. That was I didn't put any bearings in it, so who knows how much I left on that bottom end, but rear end's all new now. Hopefully I'm going to flush the gear oil when I get this back one more time, and hopefully not be seeing any more metal shavings. And now I'm going to have another freshened trans. So I think this is going to be trans number 4 going in this thing. So starting to rack up quite the number of parts, but this thing's been going, this is my 5th season driving this thing, so yeah, definitely have some miles on this stuff. So anyways, enough rambling. I want to get this thing fixed. You probably can't really see. Would have been a pretty nice sunset out in the dunes, but we're here at the shop trying to get this thing ready to go pretty much for summer. So summer weather really hasn't kicked off all that much, so still got plenty of time, all the events coming up, and should have everything fresh and ready to go for the season. So for now, that's it kind of on this thing. I'm going to get back to doing work, doing the real job, and probably doing some shocks. I'll probably show you some shock stuff as I do. So I got quite a few pairs to do. So we'll get at it. Working on a set of shocks, some 2.5 Kings, some coilovers, and discovered something to show you guys. See if we can get the camera focused in on there. This is what it's going to look like if your IFP seals are no good and nitrogen has leaked past your IFP seals. As you can see, I've already drained the nitrogen pressure, but I'll press it down again, the straighter valve. There's no more pressure coming out. I've already relieved it. But if I go ahead, I have this threaded on to the whatever it's called underneath there. And if you see, if I push it down, there's a force in there, which is, it's a nitrogen charge which is pushing back up. So how do I have no pressure here in the reservoir? All the nitrogen is drained, but I still have pressure. I still have pressure in the shock itself. So that's the actual there's an IFP in here, and that is, there's seals on there, there's an O-ring, and that thing is more than likely it's worn out, which is obviously why the shocks are here. That IFP is in this reservoir in here, and there's a big O-ring on them, and that O-ring is more than likely wore out, which is why the shocks are here. There's oil leaking out of the seals. Obviously, there's nitrogen. Got past that IFP seal, is on the wrong side, so there's a charge inside the shock, and essentially right now we have a little bit of a bomb. If you were to remove this cap, this cap pushes in. There's a snap ring inside there retaining it. If you push that in and we're able to hold it down and take the snap ring out, this would shoot out because the IFP right now is pushed up against this. When I depressed the nitrogen, I heard it hit it. That's how I knew immediately that the nitrogen had leaked past the IFP. So in a case like this, you have to get that nitrogen out of there because same thing, if you unthread this, you have to push this, I forget what it's called, the bearing body, what keeps the shaft in line in the center of your shock. There's an assembly in here which is threaded for this to screw onto. You got to push that down, and if you were able to push that down and hold it, take the snap ring out, this would shoot out there with that nitrogen charge that's in there. So how I'm going to drain these ones, sometimes they might have an Allen screw. Sometimes people will put Allen screws up there for that very reason. But with these, I'm replacing hoses on these as well. These hoses are pretty chafed up and the steel braiding's getting frayed. So replacing hoses, I'm going to crack the hose and crack the hose at the reservoir or at the head and start slowly cracking it until I can get the air bleeding out of there. And that's how I'm going to get the nitrogen out of these. So I'm going to guess that the other front shock, this is the first one I've torn into, they're both leaking and like this, so these shocks are definitely blown out, and I'm going to have to do that with both of these. So just something I was going to show you, something that maybe if you have your shocks laying around, they've got leaky seals, or you notice that you drain the nitrogen charge and you hear a click in there, which is the IFP pushing up and clicking into the bottom of this cap, or you push, there's maybe a better actual representation. There's no nitrogen in there, and if I push the shaft down, there should be nothing pushing that back up. Now it's not a super heavy charge, so there's probably not a ton of nitrogen back there, but there's enough that this shock's not working how it should be. So yeah, I'll get these cracked open, and no big deal. Get them all fixed up and rebuilt, and truck should be good as new again. Well, if you can see those little bubbles, I was going to pull the hoses and crack those, but I actually just pulled the wiper seal out that goes in there, and the nitrogen is able to leak out now past the shaft on the inside of the bearing block. So if you see those little bubbles, that's the nitrogen that's coming out. Yeah, there's the charge is going down. So you can see that even oil is coming up and out of that. It still has a little bit of a charge though, because it's still pushing the shock shaft back up. So still gonna have to probably crack the hose to get all of it actually out. It doesn't have enough pressure now to push past that seal anymore, so. got another example of a shock with, let's see, the IFP seals. Nitrogen has leaked past the IFP seals, and now there is a nitrogen charge on the wrong side of the IFP in here. So if you go to push this cap in and try to get the C-clip, the retaining clip in out of there, or even on this side, there's a charge right now. If you hit it, it springs back, and that's just like the front. These shocks are off the same truck. These are the fronts. It's an A-arm truck. It's a leaf spring rear, so just a bypass in the rear. This one was not like that. This one was good. It was still holding the charge. These ones both were leaked past and had nitrogen in. So this is another one. So this one being a bypass, you got to find somewhere to crack and relieve the pressure to slowly bleed it out, because yeah, if you're able to actually like push this in and hold it somehow and then pull that C-clip out, that's just gonna blow that thing out and you're gonna have oil everywhere. So I'm gonna stand this thing back up and then just crack one of the bypass tubes and let the nitrogen leak out past there and make sure this thing isn't a little bomb anymore. And then from there, I will dump the oil and then change all the seals and get it all put back together, and it'll be holding. One of the little things I can show you I do here is this one is how this one came in, little hose clamp. A lot of you might know this already, but if you don't, little trick, just take some electrical heat shrink, wrap your hose clamp. Looks a little nicer on that shock body. If you can see. Still got the tail of it. You know, you could trim that if you really wanted to, but the rest of it with the little shrink wrap on there kind of looks a little nicer than that. Anyways, that's it. Yeah, just showing you another example of that. Pretty common. So if you're messing around with your shocks, taking them off, and you're finding that, you know, you drain the nitrogen out of the Schrader valve, and then you can push on the shock shaft and it's still shooting out. Yeah, you need to get those rebuilt. So